Welcome, guys, to another episode of Over the Top Talk. I'm here with Anthony. How we doing
Yo,
today?
yo, we're doing great. We're doing great.
Obviously, very interesting week of wrestling we had after the Elimination Chamber. We'll
Yeah,
start with the Raw well, not real quick. We saw the beginning of the road with Becky Lynch and Rhea Ripley. What were your thoughts on that?
well, they're really teasing that up. We're gonna definitely have a huge showdown, WrestleMania. They're really building this up. We got how far are we out now? Like 5 weeks out from Mania. With a little bit over a month to get this build up going. I'm starting to feel the anticipation a little bit. Obviously, what we talked about last week, we felt like the build up wasn't as good as it could have been, but I think they're kind of reading the fans. They're kind of sensing our frustration, what we felt about last weekend. They're really gonna build They're really gonna build this up to be something special. Probably one of the best matches we've seen, and hopefully they deliver. And I don't put it past them. I think it's gonna be a phenomenal match because Rhea Ripley obviously being a powerhouse and Becky Lynch being able to tell storylines, long term storytelling, and current storytelling. She can meet every point, and I just can't wait for it.
Yeah, and obviously during that promo session, at the end, we saw a very angry Nia Jax. She wanted to take out Becky Lynch. Um, where do you see the road for Nia Jax heading to WrestleMania?
Well, they're building up Nia Jax to be she's a main eventer now. One of her first big matches. She hasn't had that many matches, and she's already gone against Becky Lynch and Rhea Ripley in the main event of the Chamber in her home country. Like that's insane. So I think they're gonna keep her at that main event level. I think she's gonna be having some star-studded feuds. Like obviously what we saw Nia Jax versus Liv Morgan, on Raw. So Liv Morgan obviously coming back from injury at the Rumble. She's still a main eventer. She still wants her revenge on Rhea Ripley, putting her out of action for all that time. So I think we're gonna keep Nia Jax in that circle around Rhea Ripley with Liv Morgan, Becky Lynch, all of them. I think everyone wants a crack at Rhea, and I think we could possibly see Nia Jax go through the entire gauntlet. Have some matches with everybody that was in the women's chamber. Bianca Belair, Justin Raquel Rodriguez, and all of them. Just name a few. So yeah, I think in the next upcoming months throughout the summer we can see Nia Jax, um, possibly have more main event feuds, possibly at the Money in the Bank going into SummerSlam, and I think eventually she's gonna get that championship, either the Women's World Championship or just the Women's Championship, either or. I think she's bound to carry a title. There's no way around it, and but I'm all down for it. So hopefully the path is good, and we're just gonna let it play out.
Yeah, since she's been back, I really liked her work a lot. Obviously, the first time she's kind of injuring a lot of superstars, but now I feel like she's back, and I think she's starting to earn a lot of respect back with the WWE.
Yeah, yeah, I
But
agree with that.
I think the last question I have for this is: do you think there's a possibility that we see a four-way match between um, Becky, Rhea, Liv Morgan, and Nia Jax?
Well, anything's possible. We've seen that now. There's a lot of surprises we've gotten over the past months, but I think that's pushing it a little bit, to be honest. I think the fans want to see Becky Lynch versus Nia Jax one-on-one. I don't think we want to see a four-way. Um, Maybe we can see her involved in a different four-way, with some other women that were in the chamber or something like that. But um, maybe down the line. Maybe we'll see those four women in a match down the line at like a SummerSlam or like sometime in September or something like that. But you know, right now in the current storyline, I think we want to see Becky versus Nia 1-on-1. You know, no, not Becky versus Nia, Becky versus Rhea 1-on-1, and yeah, I think they should let that play out first. You know, possibly possibly Becky winning the championship off of her or Rhea retaining. Can go either way, but I think after that we can possibly have another storyline with Nia, with Liv. So yeah, we'll see how that plays out.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing where all these female paths go, like Liv Morgan and Nia Jax, and obviously Becky Lynch and Rhea Ripley. Um, these next upcoming weeks should be huge for all of them, so interested to see what the future holds. But moving on, we got Sami Zayn and Shinsuke for like it feels like the 800 time on Raw, but it's
Mhm.
actually a very good match, I thought. Um, Obviously, Sammy finally getting the win. I guess we're talking about Pats, and we have talked about Sami Zayn's Pat on our episodes before, but now that he finally has a win under his belt, where do you think his path goes?
Well, yeah, like you said, we saw him win finally. He's been on a losing streak for the past couple of weeks. Obviously against Drew he lost, and now against Shinsuke last week, 2 weeks ago. But now that he finally got this win on Raw, I think we're gonna get the build up of Sami Zayn kind of going on the same thing as Liv Morgan. Like we said this a few times in the podcast now. Sami Zayn possibly starting a revenge tour, kind of like Liv Morgan. But I don't see him turning heel. I think he's gonna stay face. He's kind of gonna go after everyone that's doubted him, like we've said before. Drew, obviously Shinsuke. Honestly, I hope we don't see another Shinsuke match. It was good, but like you said, like the 800th time we've seen this. Um, I think it's time already to put him in the scene of the championship, the main event championship scene back in there again. We saw him against Seth Rollins like a month or two ago on Raw, um, and now Drew. But I think it's time to keep him in that high level. See what because we all know what he can do. We've seen him in the Bloodline. He's a bona fide main eventer. He's on the top of his game right now. He's an outstanding storyteller. He can show emotion. He can show the pain, the agony of his climb back up to the greatness where he once was. And obviously, the last time him winning gold was at WrestleMania 39 when they won the tag team championships off the Usos. Um, but I think it's time to put him back in that scene again, whether whether the World Heavyweight Championship or what we saw was a little taste of Gunther. We saw him kind of had a run with Imperium and Gunther. And I actually have a question for you about that. Do you think we're gonna see Sami Zayn and Gunther kind of go at it in the next couple of weeks?
I definitely do think we are going to see that, and obviously to add in some other superstars to that feud. Obviously, we saw Dominic Mysterio. We saw Chad Gable. So I think we're gonna see all those superstars, start coming together. Not coming together, but coming together for possible four-way come Mania time. And I'd be all down to see a ladder match for the Intercontinental Championship if they had those four guys in the ring at the same time.
Yeah, yeah. I would love to see that. Obviously Gunther being that main eventer now. Him putting on match after match, banger after banger. Him going crazy, having some which people are considering match of the year. Like just to name a few, was the match against Sheamus, against Chad Gable, the triple threat match with him, Sheamus, and McIntyre. Him versus the Miz. Um, and him versus Kofi was amazing too. That's just named a couple of them, you know. So I think people would definitely be interested in seeing a ladder match, um, possibly a six-man ladder match. That's what I would like to see, kind of like a Money in the Bank esque type match. Um, but yeah, I think what you said was really good about the participants in it. I think obviously would be Sami Zayn, you know, seeing Dominic in there, Chad Gable, hopefully, maybe even the Miz we'll see in there. Maybe Ricochet. You know, Ricochet's had some past issues with Gunther and the world champion and with the IC championship, and I don't know who the last man would be. Maybe a surprise entry from Sheamus. You know, because Sheamus obviously been out from injury. Hopefully, he resigns his contract with the company. Um, but yeah, I think that match is going to be star-studded. I think it's going to be incredible. Um, Potentially be a almost match of the night type thing if it happens at Mania. Um, you know, obviously what we saw last year was like the tag team showcase match. I think they could do another showcase match, but with the IC championship, a huge ladder match. I remember they had a match for the IC title. I think it was at like WrestleMania 30. I don't know if you remember that, but that match was phenomenal. It was incredible. So they could probably put on a match just as good as that, maybe even better at this upcoming WrestleMania. And I'm all for it. I can't wait for it.
Yep, obviously, all different superstars want that Intercontinental belt. Obviously, Gunther's held it for a long time. I don't think like 550 plus days or something like that. And obviously, I think we are gonna see a new champion come Mania time. So I'm interested to see who ends up winning the Intercontinental Championship, and I'm curious what the feud's gonna be looking like the next couple weeks on Raw.
Yeah, yeah, me too. And keeping the topic on Raw, you know, we saw a few other matches. Well, let's stay on topic right here with Imperium. You know, we saw Imperium versus the New Day in a street fight. You know, people have been waiting for that for a while. Obviously, tension's very high. Uh, them going through Xavier Woods, Kofi Kingston in the singles matches, mostly Kaiser going at it, and obviously we saw them both versus Gunther, a crack at the IC title, both of them obviously losing at it, and but now this match accumulating to this huge street fight, which kind of felt like a PLE type match, didn't it? And, you know, the star power in there was incredible. It kind of felt like a main event type match. It was huge. It was awesome. And obviously, the fans were all loving it. You know, we saw tables, we saw kendo stick spots, we saw steel chair spots. But the part that really surprised me was seeing Imperium take the win. You know, I was really expecting the New Day to win that match. You know, I thought they were going to win, come out on top. But what do you think about Imperium winning that match? And do you see them possibly going after, you know, tag team gold? Or do you think this is going to kind of feed more into the Intercontinental Championship picture?
I'd say I think this is gonna start. I don't know if you would agree with me on this, but I think we're gonna start to see a type of hail coming from the New Day, and I think this is gonna just feed into the fact that um, the New Day are gonna turn heel, possibly looking for their revenge, and we've never really seen them hail. Obviously, it'd be a very fun sight, I think, and I think we might see a couple more matches between them and Imperium, but with Imperium right now, I don't know where their path's gonna go completely, but maybe they'll start looking for some tag team gold. Obviously, I don't know if they're at that level yet because I think they're just gonna kind of stay with Gunther right now and help him, keep his reign going. So yeah, it's I don't know if we're gonna see a Hail New Day, but I'd be all for it.
Yeah, yeah. You know, like you said, we did see heel New Day, if you remember back in like 2014 in the beginning of their run, but it couldn't last that long. The fans love the New Day. They're just so fun. They're awesome with the pancakes, with the unicorn horns, all that stuff. It's just they're too easy to like. So they had to turn them face, and it's been a long time since we've seen them in any heel capacity. So yeah, I think maybe turning them heel may work out, but I think another way they could go, which is this is kind of some fantasy booking, which I don't think would ever happen. But they've been terrorizing they kind of been terrorizing the New Day, and obviously Big E. Big E is kind of like he would be the final boss type thing to go after Gunther. But obviously him with his broken neck, I don't think he's going to be able to do that. But that would be something awesome to see. Him get a crack at Gunther and possibly dethrone him. But like the other things you were saying about Imperium going after gold in New Day, and them staying with Gunther, I think they need to start, possibly having not a heel turn, a face turn for Imperium, because they're kind of like being bossed around and treated like just toys for Gunther. Whenever they don't do anything Gunther likes, he kind of freaks out, yells at them, almost like hits them and stuff. So I think we can possibly see a face turn for Imperium, maybe them joining the New Day or something like that, or having kind of like an alliance type thing. Um, but yeah, it can go either way, and I think we're on for a great ride. The storyline can go on past WrestleMania, it can go all the way to SummerSlam. But I can't wait for it. I think ultimately it's going to accumulate and finish with um, Kaiser versus Gunther, which has been a match that people have been talking about, hopefully seeing, and yeah, I'll be all for that.
Yeah, obviously, New Day Imperium, I would like to see them, possibly combine as a team. Also curious about them the next couple weeks. I don't know um, if the New Day are gonna be there or not. I really don't know yet, but I guess we'll have to wait and see what happens with Imperium and New Day. But moving on to probably the biggest promo of the night, I can say, is the Seth Rollins and Drew McIntyre story officially began on Monday. Um, Obviously, seeing Drew McIntyre still take shots at CM Punk, saying his air drum got blown out, but he's not gonna miss Mania because he's not CM Punk. Um, the one question I have for you is obviously there was reports this week that said Punk's gonna be on the Raw before Mania. Do we think Punk's gonna become a part of that match and be like a ref?
Um, that's something that I would love to see. That'd be awesome, incredible. If you remember back, this is kind of like the same thing they did with Shawn Michaels being special guest referee back in like the early 2000s. Kind of reusing that story, which I'm all for. That's really cool. Um, I think we can possibly see that depending on the status of his tricep surgery. We haven't really seen him on TV a lot. He made an appearance obviously on Raw after the show went off the air, and he was at the press conference in Las Vegas. But yeah, I think seeing him as a special guest referee would kind of feed into both of their storylines. Obviously Seth Rollins having problems with CM Punk, and Drew McIntyre, obviously, and CM Punk kind of he's already building a feud up with him. Like making fun of him every single week on Raw, cutting promos, making him like be like a clown type thing, making him feel like a joke, making him seem weak. But yeah, I think him being in that match as the referee, special guest referee, we could possibly see the start of Seth Rollins, and not Seth Rollins, I'm Drew McIntyre versus CM Punk. I think he's going to get CM Punk before Seth Rollins does. Um, personally for me, I think Seth Rollins versus CM Punk's a WrestleMania worthy match. I don't know if they want to wait a whole year again, but that's something I would be down for. I think SummerSlam would be a perfect time to have CM Punk versus Drew McIntyre. Um, and people are talking about how Drew McIntyre might dethrone Seth Rollins here at WrestleMania. I don't know how much I agree with that. It seems very likely, um, but obviously Damian Priest being a threat to that. But I would love to see a World Heavyweight Championship match. CM Punk versus Drew McIntyre. That'd be awesome. Really, really fun to see. And I think by him being that referee would really set up a great storyline that would make fans not only invested into it, but kind of make them, you know, tune into Raw every single week, seeing what's going to happen next with him and Seth Rollins. Maybe a triple threat match, even, Seth Rollins versus Drew McIntyre versus CM Punk, So, yeah, they can go either way with that. And hopefully it plays out well. I know it will, because even if CM Punk's in there, like, come on, he can tell a great story on his own. So, yeah, I can't wait for Mania. That match is going to be very special, and we'll see in the upcoming weeks if he's going to become that referee. So yeah,
Yeah, obviously a lot of us are excited. Um, Obviously Drew not winning a belt since 2020, and when he won that belt, there was no fans. So obviously now we're seeing like a full hail Drew persona, kind of throwing shots at everybody, especially CM Punk. So I can't wait for that Rollins versus Drew match, and I'm excited for the future. Possibly having Drew win, or Priest end up cashing in. Priest's like 20 attempts have failed, so I don't know if we're gonna see it at Mania, but I hope we do see the cash in soon, pointing at Damian Priest.
yeah, he deserves that. He deserves that championship run. Priest and Balor obviously having the tag team titles now, which feels like an eternity. It feels like they've had those belts for like years. I know it's only been like how long, like 6 7 months maybe, but it's felt like a really really long time. But I think having them possibly lose the belts at Mania, you know, can set up a good way um, for Priest to maybe come out and cash it in. But I don't know. I feel like that takes away star power from that match. We're anticipating Drew versus Seth, um, and I think with Priest failing all these cash-ins, since he's got the briefcase, I think it's kind of taken away the magic of it. We were all hoping that he was going to get a cash in, become champion, but I just feel like it's too late now. I feel like they missed their opportunity with that. I think the best time they could have done that was I think it was at day one, or even before that, when it was Seth versus Jinder Mahal. That would have been a perfect time for it. But yeah, I think they really shot and missed right here. I don't think we want to see a Damian Priest cash in for this match, because this match just feels too special for that. It's a huge match, and I think them giving Damian Priest the belt is still a good idea, just not now. I think they should just let the Money in the Bank thing expire. I know we're all upset about it. 2 years in a row with failed cash-ins would be devastating for the briefcase, for the power of it. Like I said, people are gonna not see it as a threat anymore, but more of it's like a prop. But yeah, I think giving him the belt later on down the line will be good for him, because fans like Priest. You can see that the fans respect him as an in-ring performer. They love him. They love his storyline. He's like a powerhouse in the Judgment Day, So I'm all for him becoming a champion, just not right now. And I hope the match, Seth versus Drew, hope it's a clean match. May the best man win, like they've been saying. And yeah, we'll see after Mania who comes out as the world champion.
Yep. Obviously, tons of fans excited, myself included. I guess with that, we finished off the night with Cody Rhodes going against Grayson Waller, which I thought was an original setup, but ended up not being. And we obviously saw Paul Heyman come out after that match and try to have a conversation with Cody. Cody really wasn't feeling it, and ended up beating up all his guards, telling Heyman he's not being hunted by the bloodline. He's um, the hunter of the bloodline. So, um, do you like this kind of not new Cody, but kind of new attitude towards the bloodline we're seeing with Cody?
Yeah, this new side of Cody, it's not like you said, it's not a different Cody, but it's kind of a more aggressive Cody Rhodes. He's done playing the good guy. He's done being, patient. He's done waiting around. He is becoming the hunter now. He's gonna go after the bloodline. He's gonna attack them one by one. He's never gonna stop until he finishes that story. And I love this side of Cody Rhodes. I've been waiting for it because we all know what he can do. We all know how over he is with a crowd. We all know how of a warrior he is in the ring. So seeing him kind of let out this new side, this new demeanor towards the bloodline. You could see it on Paul Heyman's face. He was concerned. He was scared. He was like, "Oh no!" Like he knew the plan backfired. And when he was walking out, you heard him call Roman Reigns and call The Rock, which is kind of funny. He had like two separate phones for that. But yeah, it was really cool how he just kind of took off the chair. He just sat in the ring after. He kind of just talked man to man right to Paul Heyman. He like told him how it is and how it's gonna be, and it's gonna play out. It's gonna play out incredibly. I can already see it. I already know the match at Mania is gonna be incredible, and I think it's time. I think Cody Rhodes is gonna become the top of the business. Win the undisputed Universal Champion, go on to be the face of the company, and it's gonna be phenomenal. I can't wait for it. I can't wait.
Yeah, obviously, I think a lot of people want Cody to become the newest face, and obviously that match is gonna be like fireworks. I'm very excited for it. Obviously, we'll talk about this when we get to SmackDown with the new implications going into Mania. But um, for now, I just want to thank our newest sponsor, Rogue Energy, for blessing us with this sponsorship. I just want to talk a little bit about that. Um,
Yep.
if you guys ever need a
Yep.
boost of energy, we both recommend trying Rogue's energy drink. With its amazing 16 flavors, it gives you the ability to stay energized and focused at all times, whether you are playing video games, watching WWE, or even listening to our podcast. We both want you guys to, maybe try out Rogue Energy and use our code, which is over the top talk, no spaces, and you can get 10% off all purchases. And
Yep.
with that, I'm gonna give the floor to you because you're my, NXT guy.
Oh yeah,
Could
yeah.
you tell us a little bit about what happened on NXT this week?
Yeah, I can. Yes, I can. And to finish it off, I want to thank Rogue Energy myself. We really appreciate the sponsor, and we would love it if you guys went and checked out Rogue Energy. Like we said, use code OverTheTopTalk, get 10% off your order, and hopefully you guys love it. We love it, and we're just very thankful for this opportunity and the sponsor. But yeah, cutting into NXT, it was kind of like a low down week. It was kind of a low key week. Obviously, we're going into Stand Deliver, which is like the WrestleMania of NXT. Um, we're gonna see some incredible stuff. I already know it, but some things we saw, not a lot, but starting off was Ilya Dragunov and Carmelo Hayes. Still building up their story. Um, Obviously, we saw at Vengeance Day, we saw Trick Williams get turned on by Carmelo Hayes, his heel side of Carmelo Hayes, and Ilya Dragunov coming out that Tuesday after that match. Well, he was in the match, but after that match, he kind of let his opinion out known that Carmelo Hayes is not a good guy. He's bad for this, turning on Trick, blah blah blah, talking about that. But I think them with their story now going into Stand and Deliver, I think the match need to get confirmed for that, and it's going to be an incredible match. I think we can see a return from Trick Williams that in that night going after Carmelo Hayes, setting up their match. I think in the upcoming weeks, actually, they're going to have um, Mello versus Ilya. They're going to give Mello the championship, and then we're going to see Mello versus Trick at Stand and Deliver. So hopefully we see that. Next, moving on in NXT was we saw the Good Brothers come out. We saw them have their first match. Obviously, they weren't being utilized that well on SmackDown. Not enough room for them, but now in NXT, they're putting in some amazing work. They had a phenomenal match. Them working really hard. You can see the determination on their face and how excited they are to be there. But the part that I want to touch on was how after their match they went backstage and they went face to face with Braun Breaker and Baron Corbin. They're I think they're going to be the ones to dethrone them. Win the NXT titles because obviously Braun Breaker being a main roster guy, he's up there. He's going to be on SmackDown weekly from now on, and it's going to be harder for him to work double duty. So seeing the Good Brothers kind of win gold again is going to be incredible. We haven't seen them be at top of their game for a while, and this is a really good time for it to be awesome. But the biggest part of the show was obviously Sean Spears returning. You know, we've been seeing the codes coming up weekly now, hinting at a return. And Sean Spears comes out, steel chair in hand, and he's standing there in the ring, takes off his hood and just the light right on him and stuff, and this was a genuine surprise, him coming back from AEW. We didn't even know the signing happened. And I think he's gonna do some amazing things. I don't think he's gonna be like a main inventor, but I think he's gonna like put in some good work, helping guys get over with the crowd, helping guys like work on themselves, and possibly come to the main roster eventually. But this is awesome to see him back in the company, and I can't wait to see what work they do with him. Maybe him against Obafemi, maybe him doing some. I don't know if he's going to be face or heel. I think he's going to be a face. Hopefully, he might be a heel. I'm okay with the other thing because I really, really like him as a character. But yeah, that was mainly it that happened on this week at NXT. It's kind of a down week, like I said, but still some good surprises we saw. And I'm going to give it back to Owen now. He's going to introduce us into SmackDown. And yeah, take it from here.
Okay, so obviously to start off the SmackDown show, we saw what felt like a very, very long promo coming from the Bloodline plus The Rock. Obviously, I think they said it went over like 10 minutes. That's why kind of SmackDown matches kind of went faster than usual. But the biggest part of that promo, I think, was obviously we saw the tag team match being announced, possibly, or tag team challenge, I guess I should say, between Seth Rollins and Cody versus The Rock and Roman. And obviously, the stipulation being that if the Bloodline wins, um, Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns, that match will be Bloodline rules only, which is like no DQ, anything's possible in that match, which would be a nightmare, I think, for Cody. But obviously, if Cody and Seth win, no Bloodline will be involved. Where do you obviously? I think we know at this point that match is gonna get accepted for night one. So, who do you think's gonna win that matchup come Mania night one?
Um, you know, I could really see them going either way with that. um, nobody wants to see bloodline rules. Like we said, we don't want to see the entire bloodline come out and attack Cody Rhodes. That would be really, really bad for him. But honestly, I could see that going that direction, and I have a few reasons for it. But let's touch on the other one first, which is what if Seth Rollins and Cody do win? Making it a fair one-on-one match. I think if that happens, I still think it's not going to be fair. Like we saw last year, it was supposed to be a fair one-on-one match, and then Solo comes out, and the Usos came out, but then like Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn came out. It was just a nightmare. So even if it's announced as a fair match, there's still going to be shenanigans. But if we have bloodline rules, I think we could see something awesome happen. I think we possibly see the bloodline obviously come out, but I think we see Cody Rhodes Avengers come out like he's built. Jey Uso, Sami Zayn, um, who else? Seth Rollins. Even more people that would be on his side that would come out and help defend the bloodline. Maybe Kevin Owens too. Obviously, him having issues with the bloodline. So I think the bloodline rules match could be really cool in that aspect. But hopefully, the big thing happens would be The Rock turning on Roman Reigns in that night. If it's bloodline rules, he could help Cody Rhodes dethrone Roman Reigns, which would be best case scenario because we would get to see Cody Rhodes finish his story and eventually maybe get to see Roman Reigns versus The Rock. Hopefully something like that happens and there's no shenanigans. The other scenario, which is not the good one, is we see a repeat of WrestleMania 39 when, the bloodline comes out, they attack Cody Rhodes, and it's 1, 2, 3. Roman Reigns retains. Um, I don't think they're going to do that this year. People are sick of it. If they do that, they're going to lose viewership. They're gonna People are going to be upset. So I think this is the year we finally see Cody Rhodes become the undisputed Universal Champion, and I think it's going to be really, really cool. And I hope it's a one-on-one match, even if it's Bloodline rules. I hope we see the Avengers come out, Cody Rhodes Avengers, and yeah, I can't wait to see how that plays out.
Me as well, and to speak on the end of that segment, we saw The Rock get, interrupted by Roman. Roman wanted him to, acknowledge him. We ended up seeing him acknowledge him, but like there was just something about his like eyes and like face that, you know, gives me the reason to believe that he's gonna 100% turn on Roman, come Mania time. And also, we saw him at the end kind of like stick his finger up with his thumb out again. And then we saw Paul, give him like a look, and then he kind of put the thumb away. So there's definitely like tiny hints that, he's secretly on Cody's side. So I'm very excited for that main event, and, hopefully it's a
Yeah,
very good one like it's expected to be.
yeah. I actually have one more comment about that. Like you said, with Paul Heyman giving them that look too. Um, I got a question for you here. Do you think we're gonna see Paul Heyman turn on Roman Reigns too? Maybe after he gave The Rock that look, The Rock realized and he put it away, put his thumb away. Do you think we can have maybe see a plan of the bloodline possibly turning on Roman Reigns because maybe they're sick of his controlling, they're sick of him being this villain? Like, do you think we can possibly see the whole bloodline betray Roman Reigns?
I do think obviously we've seen Jimmy turn on Roman before, so I definitely like never rule it out, but I do think it's only gonna be The Rock that turns for some reason. I don't know if that's just me, but obviously we've seen Solo. There's been like a couple hints at him turning on Roman in the past. I just don't know if they're gonna turn at Mania, but um, it's gonna be very, very interesting to see where the rest of the storyline goes. After Mania.
Yeah, it's going to be really, really nice to see. I think we're going to see like you said, I think we're going to see the Rock turn. I think we're going to definitely have the Rock turn, like I said. But the Bloodline turn, that I'm not going to put that out of the question. I think they're tired of him. They're tired of Roman Reigns. We can see it. We've seen Jimmy. Jimmy's definitely tired of it. I don't know why he came back, but remember, there was no really explanation why he came back into the Bloodline. So maybe they could use that come full circle. Maybe he was trying to destroy the Bloodline from the inside out. So I think it can come out either way. I think they can tell an amazing story where it's going to be like the whole bloodline turning on Roman Reigns, plus Cody Rhodes' Avengers coming out. So I think we can see the fall of Roman Reigns and the rise of Cody Rhodes. So yeah, hopefully we'll see that.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to it. Moving on with that night, we saw Tiffany Stratton versus Naomi. I think the obviously they were already like very delayed because of the opening session, but um, do you think there's like a real path with Tiffany Stratton to Mania? Maybe we see her versus Bianca Belair. I think people would want to see that. Obviously, Jade's still there, but I don't know what they're gonna do with her. So, how would you feel having Tiffany Stratton versus Bianca Belair at Mania?
I would be all for that. They're showing that Tiffany Stratton's she's becoming a main eventer. She's already at the top of her game. She's 24 years old, and I think we're gonna get a great match out of that. And like obviously, like we saw at the Chamber, her and Tiffany Stratton and Bianca Belair have issues. We saw them kind of stare at each other when she first came in to the Chamber. She was standing outside of Bianca's pod and she was like taunting her and stuff and like making her upset. So I think that's definitely a possibility. Um, maybe maybe we'll see Jade Cargill kind of go for somebody else. Maybe we'll let that sit a little bit. Putting her in that main event scene this early on, maybe a little bit too quick for it. But Tiffany Stratton's been preparing. She's working every week at it, and I think seeing her versus Bianca would be incredible for her career, for her star power. So yeah, hopefully that comes up next a couple upcoming weeks. Maybe she'll go through the gauntlet. She'll go through the other women that were in the chamber, and we'll finally see at Mania. We'll see her meet with Bianca, and hopefully that happens. I can't wait for it, and yeah.
Yeah, I think that would be an amazing match. And I guess we can stay on the female topic because we saw um we saw Dakota Kai turn on Bailey, which I think we all saw coming out the gate. Obviously, now that it's three versus one, we did see Jade Cargill stare down Io in the back. Do you think Bailey's gonna go into this 3-on-1, or do you think she's gonna have some sort of like person with her to help protect her?
Well, obviously, we're getting Bailey versus Io at Mania, so it can't happen at Mania. But I think on like an episode of Raw or SmackDown, probably yeah, definitely SmackDown, we're gonna see her probably gather up some people. Maybe build a team, two other people to help her go after the Kabuki Warriors and Dakota Kai. So maybe she'll get Jade Cargill, help her with that. Somebody else that could help her would be like somebody else that has issues with damage control and all of them. So basically, probably any woman on the roster, really, if you think about it, they've all had issues with damage control. So she can really call anybody to help her with that, and hopefully the match will be amazing. I think it'll be really, really good, and leading us into Mania, kind of getting us more hype for that one-on-one match, Bianca versus not Bianca, oh my God, Bailey versus Io Sky. So yeah, hopefully that plays out well. Can't wait for it, and I think we're gonna finally see Bailey win gold again, become your new women's champion.
Yep, I definitely agree. I like this new side of Bailey, and I hope it continues into Mania. And obviously, I hope she ends up becoming the new women's champion. Because I think we all want to see this. Io Sky's kind of had like a I don't want to say like and I'll say it. She's kind of had like a poor title run. Only having like one or two small title defenses in like 200 days or something like that. So I hope we see the belt change hands come Mania, which I think it will. So very excited for that.
Yeah, me too.
And to end this, I think we can talk about the return of we saw Rey Mysterio return from injury. Um, I think this is gonna easily set up a Rey Mysterio versus Santos Escobar Mania, and I'm very excited for that.
Yeah, me too. Mysterio, very nice to see in the ring. It's been too long since we've seen him in there. And seeing him versus Santos, both of them incredible in-ring performers. The street fight on SmackDown was pretty good. Carlito versus Santos, um, tables, all that. Made a pretty good street fight with obviously LWO coming out helping him, and Santos bringing his whole squad out to help attack Carlito with, and obviously we saw Zelina Vega kind of go out a little bit more with Elektra Lopez, kind of building up their match. So yeah, I think it's going to be incredible, and um, I think kind of we may see some shenanigans in their match one on one. Mysterio versus Santos, obviously Legado del Fantasma and LWO having their problems. So I think we can see some in ring, well, ringside action, kind of going at it. And I think at Mania we may see Elektra Lopez versus Zelina Vega. So yeah, hopefully that plays out well. It'll play out really good. And yeah, this feud's been a long time coming, and I am so happy to see Mysterio back.
But yep, I think we definitely all are. He's an amazing talent in the ring. I think him and Santos are gonna put up a war at Mania, so it's gonna be a very fun match to watch, and looking very forward to it the next coming weeks, and at Mania.
Yeah, yeah,
But
it's incredible.
moving off with the last match of the night, we saw obviously Randy Orton take down Austin Theory. The one last question I would have for you is we've seen kind of we've seen Grayson Waller and Theory, together. Do you think Theory's eventually gonna turn on Grayson and go like face? I think we all want to see that. So
Yeah, that's bound to happen. Um, Obviously, the past 2 weeks you saw it at the Chamber, and we saw it obviously at SmackDown with where Grayson Waller doesn't really help Theory out, or he kind of like throws him under the bus or something like that. So I think we're definitely going to see a Theory face turn. Him go after Grayson Waller. That would be a great match to see. Both of them like are really growing on me. They didn't really do really good with Theory before when he was with his U.S. title run. People were getting bored of it. People were getting bored of him. But now he's kind of fun to watch. He's better in the ring. And same thing with Grayson Waller. He's fun to watch. He's really good in the ring. So that could be a Mania type match. Maybe like a SmackDown before Mania or the Raw after Mania. Yeah, either or. So I can't wait to see what happens with them, and I think Theory's going to be going really big places, and so is Grayson Waller. So hopefully it plays out great. I know both men are very capable of putting on an amazing match. Like we saw on SmackDown, like Austin Theory is a really great in-ring performer. He's young, he's agile, and he can really sell too. So yeah, that match should be fireworks. So yeah, can't wait to see how that plays out.
and obviously next week we have the return of Logan Paul. And obviously now Randy Orton has issues with Logan Paul, so I'm looking forward to see Logan back on SmackDown and maybe
Yeah,
seeing this feud with him and Randy, maybe even Kevin, start to form. So definitely
yeah,
excited for next week.
yeah. I can't wait for that, and we'll cover all that on Saturday's episode. We'll have a lot to talk about next week about it.
Yep, and I can't wait to watch this next week of wrestling. One more road to Mania. So guess with that we
Yep.
can finish off this episode. Thank you everyone who listened.